Hi, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Nico and I use he, him pronouns. I'm a white man with parted blonde hair, blue and brown spectacles. I'm wearing a green sweater and I'm seated in front of a purple background and some bookcases. And like about 25% of the US population, and perhaps some of you, I'm disabled. Non-disabled individuals might think that our lives are tragic, sad, pitiful, but I don't know, guys. I've been disabled a pretty long time, and I think there's also room for disabled joy. In fact, if I could only ever feel one emotion, I would get pretty bored pretty quickly. However, the disability community has as many members as it has opinions, which is why I've asked my friend Kimberly here with me today to talk with me about disabled joy. Kimberly, hi, how are you?
Hi, Nico. I'm happy to be here and thank you for inviting me.
Of course, thanks for participating. Kimberly, can you share a joyful memory with us? It could intersect with your disability, or it could be totally independent. Either is fine.
I have so many joyful memories, but let me share two of my favorites real quick. One is when I got a beach bike for my birthday several years back. My partner at the time took a month off to teach me how to ride a bike, which was one of my wishes in life. It's hard for me because I am disabled, born with cerebral palsy and living with lupus. The lupus doesn't affect my bike riding, but my cerebral palsy always has. Can't do the balancing very well. So we figured out I can't ride a regular bike, but I can ride a beach bike. It's more stable, or I thought I could. So we tried for a month to teach me how to ride a bike. We went to this one park, and after about a month of falling and trying, a month and a half maybe, I finally learned how to ride a beach bike, which was great. It was so much fun. Haven't done it very much since, but at least now I can say I know how to ride a bike. The next memory was right before COVID, and I still think about it a lot. I love Disneyland. I live in California, always loved Disneyland, but it's so expensive, you can't go very much. But I consider it my happy space. I hadn't gone in like over 20 years, but we won tickets to Disneyland and took it one right before COVID, got to visit Disneyland at Christmas time. And it was amazing. It was my first visit in over 20 years. And that was right before COVID started. So I have those happy memories of going and doing that. Don't know when I'll go again. If Disneyland ever gives me free tickets for life, I'd be happy. That would be my joy for life. But oh gosh, that day was great because I hadn't done it in so long and my disability makes it hard. And it was just wonderful to be able to do that.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Um, my family is Dutch American, so riding bikes is pretty big in our culture, and I'm really glad that you can ride that beach bike. I'm gonna have to look them up because this beach bike concept is new to me. It sounds really awesome. Thank you. How has being disabled impacted your ability to pursue that which makes you happy, to pursue happiness or to pursue joy?
Well, let me think about that for a second. Okay, let me reframe that question. How
Sure.
is being disabled, right? I would like to say it's not the disability. It's the cultural and social conditioning
Okay.
that's impacted my joy more because of the comparison energy and assumptions that people make when they see a disabled person, positive and negatively, right? We have expectations. Some people, like you said in the intro, think being disabled is something to be pitied, to feel sorry for. It's something that, oh, if only they don't expect me to succeed. They're like
Right.
surprised, right? They're like, oh my God, they won't have as good of a life. They won't be as successful as a life, right? The expectations. Then there's the opposite, the expectations of, oh, being disabled is a strength, which is great, right? But then it's only a strength because they've overcome so much. It's only a strength because they're an inspiration, right? And it's like, okay, I can't win or lose for either way, right? I either have to be super resilient, super inspirational, or I'm super pitied and super much of a victim. And it's that comparison energy. It put me in comparison energy from day one. I'm either, I have to prove myself to someone or I'm not good enough, right? So that comparison energy, comparison is the thief of joy. And that's how it's impacted my joy. Always comparing myself, either feeling not good enough or feeling I have to prove something to someone to be that inspiration. And that inspiration, that resilience, which is great. You have to learn how to ride the highs and lows to succeed and thrive in life. And that's part of my coaching, but it's exhausting. You have to learn how to manage that ride.
Yeah, thank you. I haven't really had any interviewee come back to me on this question with a thought about like comparison being the thief of joy and having to live up to or down to people's expectations or your refusal to do so, all actively take away from your time to just be and to just experience joy. I see you in that. I really appreciate that question. I know that you are someone who has had to navigate various barriers in their way, and then people tell you, "Wow, you're so resilient, you're so determined," and it's difficult because you are, but because you've had to be, because an abled society has made you that way. So it's not really the flex they think it is. I
Yeah,
see.
and I think society just puts us in these buckets of expectations, but it's from their comparison energy. They're comparing us to them, right?
Yeah,
And comparing us to what they define as success. They're comparing us to what they define as, you know, I guess resilient, right? We all have that within us, but it's like, why do I have to prove anything or be resilient in order to be seen?
that's very good. That's a very good question. Thank you. What do you want people to know about disabled life or disabled quality of life?
Well, I always say disability isn't a bad word. Being disabled doesn't mean you will live a bad life, right? Or that it's going to be less than others. My disability is a part of life and it's fluid. I have good days and bad. And believe me, I have exhausting days too when I have to recover from stuff.
Absolutely.
Um, and yes, being disabled does make it harder. It's more challenging. The money, the expenses of navigating healthcare. It's inexpensive. It's unfair, right? The systems that exist that make us hard to get employed, that make us hard to get good healthcare. That there's definitely frustrating, depressing things about living the disabled life. But that's based on society and the systems, not being disabled itself, right? Disability is not a bad word. It doesn't mean we have a bad life. It also doesn't mean my life isn't complete or whole. It doesn't mean we aren't successful or that we can't live fulfilling lives, be happy, have meaningful relationships, experience success, pleasure, or joy. Like people think, oh, you're with somebody, how nice, right? It's like, why wouldn't we be with somebody?
Right.
Right? Or they're surprised when disabled people talk about sex and different things that are like normal with relationships. And they're like, oh, what? I don't know. I don't know what they think about disabled people and sex, but it's just kind of weird, right? When you hear different people talk about those issues and you're
Mhm.
disabled, and the reactions. So the meaningful experiences, the career success, the pleasure and the joy, we have that. We have fulfilling lives. It's not broken and it's completely whole in and of itself. Our disability doesn't take away from that.
That's
Uh,
really wonderful. Thank
you
you.
know, that's pretty much it. We can experience all of it. We're human. We have the struggles, but we also have the joy.
Yeah, we're 99% like non-disabled people. We generally
Exactly.
want the same things in life. It's not like we live on a different planet or underground or something.
Exactly.
I see
I
you
know
in
in
that.
some countries we do live on a different planet because it feels like they're cast into like lower systems, they're hidden away, right? In the 50s it was like that. In some countries it's still like that. But in general, no, we're fully human beings and we're just like everybody else. We just have a lot of crappy challenges to get on planes, to do stuff, to be accessible. That's society, that's the systems. It's not being disabled.
That's a very important distinction to make. Thank you, Kimberly. We've come to kind of my last planned question, which is one that I asked all my interviewees. Is there a recent win that you're celebrating? Or are there any cool projects, cool stuff that you're doing that you want to shout out? And where can people find you online if you want to promote yourself, be your own cheerleader, hop up on your soapbox? This is your moment, my friend. Let's hear it.
Okay, so my biggest win right now is my latest job. I think the last time you and I talked, we both were kind of looking for new opportunities, and we both got new opportunities. So I am now a career and transitions coach with Randstad RiseSmart. It's outplacement human services and career services. And I get to coach with them and be a part of their global world team. And I love that, of coaches. And especially now, in this time where there's so much layoffs, this is part of what I do, is helping people who are laid off transition to their next chapter and their career and helping them succeed with that. And I love it. I'm really, really loving where I'm at. And it feels like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is one of the hardest times of life where you have to be resilient and ride the roller coaster. And I know how to do that. And I know how to do that with communications, with resumes, with interviewing and everything else. And I've never been more confident in saying this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And that's my joy. And to celebrate that joy when one of my clients gets their job or gets that interview is just so much fun right now.
That's fantastic. Thank you for helping people find their new careers. Reinvention can happen at any age.
Exactly. And for people to contact me, they can reach me out on LinkedIn. That's the easiest part, or visit my website at www.resilientleadersolutions.com. I work with all people from all different kinds of walks of life. You don't have to be a fancy executive to work with me. And I love working with teams and different organizations of all kinds. This is my joy. This is my passion. I love helping people learn how to ride that roller coaster ride and find resilient leader solutions and ride the highs and learn from the lows.
Kimberly, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and chatting with me for a brief while. It's fantastic to hear about your progress, and I can't wait to work with you again.
Thank you for inviting, and you're part of my joy too. Thank you for sharing my journey and for celebrating my joy with me today.
Of course, old friend. Audience members, tune in next time, and remember, I'm rooting for you.